And a lot of times people don't get it, and I totally understand that. But really, what networking is at its core is about building relationships, getting people to know us, getting people to like us, and getting people to trust us. Now, it's possible to be in a room and not be in a room with the right people. You're a coach, you work with other coaches, high level executives. Being in a room with what I'll call the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker isn't going to feel like the best use of your time. And I get it. That's okay. But generally speaking, networking is really about building relationships and finding ways to help them, and in turn, they will find ways to help you.
Welcome to Sharpen the Spear podcast, where we help manufacturing executives command the front and win the floor. I'm Richard Walsh, creator of the Sharpened Impact methodology, and I spent decades helping leaders transform frontline teams, unlock hidden profit, and capture capacity they didn't even know they had. If you want to see where your leadership gaps are costing you and how to fix them, head over to grittolead.com and run the free Sharpened Impact Simulator today. Let's sharpen your edge and get started. And we are back on STS Sharpen the Spear podcast with another incredible guest. I've got Frank Agin with us today. And Frank, no one knows Frank better than Frank. So, Frank, I need the backstory. Bring us up to speed and we'll get into the conversation.
All right. Well, I'm really looking forward to this, Sharpen the Spear, for a couple of reasons. One, you were on my podcast. Great. We've gotten to know each other. I'm all about sharpening the spear. But you're located in Beloit, Wisconsin.
That's right.
So that's part of my backstory. I grew up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I went to college at Beloit College. I went there to play football. It's the only reason I went. And shout out to Coach DeGeorge. He's probably not listening. This podcasts are probably not his thing, but I'm sure somebody knows him and can say, "Hey, this Frank guy mentioned you." But he recruited me to play football at Beloit College, and I showed up sight unseen. Did really well at Beloit. It's a great school. I did so well that it led me to law school at the Ohio State University. Got a law degree. Got an MBA from Ohio State. And when I left there, I got a job in public accounting. I was a tax consultant, which was a great job, great pay, great everything. If you love to do taxes, I didn't. I didn't love to do taxes. I enjoyed it for a while. It got old, Richard. And so I left to go into private practice. And what I tell people is that a funny thing happened to me when I went into private practice. And the funny thing was that nothing happened. I had no idea how to get clients. They don't teach you that in school. And so I was really kind of lost on my own. And somebody suggested I get into a leads club or a tips group or something like that. And I didn't really know what they were talking about. But through a couple introductions, I mean, the whole networking thing was foreign to me. My dad was a professor. It's just, you get good grades, you accumulate degrees, somebody's going to hire you. Well, it doesn't work that way. And so somebody said, look into this tips club, and they were starting these networking groups here in Columbus. It's based out of Pittsburgh. It made total sense to me that I could lift my whole world up, my whole world, just by helping other people and trusting they would do the same for me. And so I really got involved in that. It really helped me grow a legal practice. But it was something different and something unique, and it was something. And let's face it, Richard. Law schools are putting out new attorneys by the thousands every year. It's nothing unique to it. I call it being a glorified plumber. And this was something different. I had an opportunity to buy the business, and I did. This is 25 years ago, and I haven't looked back. I have become what I call a student of networking, continually trying to sharpen my networking spear. So,
Nice.
and so that's who I am, what I do. I run an organization. I've got hundreds of members across the country. Have written a lot of books, many on professional networking. Have a podcast. I'm trying to think what episode you were on. It was 870 something. So I've got a lot of episodes under my belt, and I just love learning about and teaching people about networking, how to get referrals. So
Yeah, Frank, this is one of those areas that in my book I wrote about kind of networking and what that was. And I went like low level. Okay, we're going to go high level here.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a lot of depth. I was like, well, here's what I don't want to do. I don't want to go. I don't want to go to like some breakfast where you stand up for 30 seconds and say what you do, and the print guy has made bags and everyone's throwing all these garbage cards and pens and stuff, and then you leave like, who? I don't even know anybody. Like, what am I going to do? I refer a guy for carpet cleaning and this and this. So I was always like, I want to go do like big networking. I want to connect with someone I want to collaborate with someone who's doing big things. I think it was for me, it was just this mindset thing, but I didn't understand it. So
Hmm.
that's why I want to dive into this because we were talking just before we jumped on all the different levels of networking, as you can explain it in the mathematical sense. But I really want to get into that because I think too many people they get it, they don't get it. They show up and they mill around maybe to talk to someone because they're drinking the same thing and
Yeah.
whatever. They have a conversation, they change cards, and that's pretty much where it ends. So
Well, before we hit record, I was just mentioning to you that somebody came to me and said, "Yeah, well, you network, I network. Hey, we're the same." And it's like, I I don't want, I'm not trying to put anybody down, but I have done this for the better part of 25 years. And saying networking is like saying math, right? Math. Now, adding two plus two is math, right? Um, but math is so much more than that. And math gets up into, quadratic equations and calculus, and that's math too. And so to say somebody who is good at simple arithmetic and somebody's good at calculus are both math experts, um, is really kind of a fallacy. And I I devote a lot of time to this. I get into the science of it, why it works. I mean, you mentioned the networking group, and we put those groups together, and a lot of times people don't get it, and I totally understand that. But really, what networking is at its core is about building relationships, getting people to know us, getting people to like us, and getting people to trust us. Now, it's possible to be in a room and not be in a room with the right people. You're a coach, you work with other coaches, high level executives. Being in a room with what I'll call the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker isn't going to feel like the best use of your time. And I get it. That's okay. But generally speaking, networking is really about building relationships and finding ways to help them, and in turn, they will find ways to help you.
yeah, I agree. When we talked last, same thing. I see you start looking at things differently, right? Sometimes you have to be the veil has to kind of be lifted by an expert.
Yeah,
So you don't understand. I'm talking to a bunch of other goofs who don't know anything about networking. Right? We're
yeah,
all going and not liking the same thing. So that's one thing I love is I'm like, because inside you're going, wait a minute, everybody's doing it, so it can't not work. It reminds me of what do they call it? The cold calling people when they're calling the telemarketing.
yeah,
Like, who talks to these people? I go, someone has to. They keep doing it.
yeah,
It's got to work. Okay, it's
yeah.
whatever the law of averages is, or whatever in that. But networking to me, I'm more in line now than where you're at than I used to be, because I value relationships where I didn't say 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so I understand the power of that relationships, collaborations, things like that. So now, even like you said, the butcher, which I have one who owns multiple
Okay.
butcher locations, right? You want to know that guy, and he's a good guy. And I know
Yeah.
his son is running the business because a lot of people eat meat, so they talk
Yeah.
to a lot of people. They know a lot of people, So yeah, it's amazing, and they actually have connections. They can connect you. It's not what's the butcher going to do for me. It's
Right.
like, who does the butcher know?
Well, and yeah, you're right. That's a problem that people make is they'll, walk into a room, whether it's my organization or a chamber function or whatever, and they'll look at people and we shouldn't be looking at people. We kind of look through people to who they know, right? So let's talk about the butcher, for example. Um, you know, the butcher's clientele are perhaps restaurants, right? Perhaps higher end people who like a finer cut of meat, just don't want to go to the store and buy whatever they can get. So developing a relationship with the butcher, totally as an example, could be a great relationship because they are likely well connected. The other thing with respect to, there's a book out there called The Millionaire Next Door. It talks about millionaires in this
Right.
country and studies. That butcher's probably a millionaire. I mean, it's
Right.
not a sexy business, but has done well over the years, accumulating money and, you know, net worth with respect to the business. So, yeah, you can't dismiss people.
So just, and you're going to know who I'm talking about because we're talking Beloit and we're going to talk about the butcher.
Yep.
Okay. And the people who come in the butcher store. Okay. So just the other day, last Saturday, we'll just call her without saying the name, the wealthiest woman in the country
Mm-hmm.
strolls in the butcher to pick up some meat.
Yep.
And my friend's son's like, "Hey, you spoke at my graduation 2, 3 years ago, man. I never forgot it. Come here and give me a hug," right? So she gives him a hug, all this stuff. That's who's going to show up in the butcher store.
Yeah.
Okay. A woman
Yeah.
with the highest net worth. She's coming in Beloit into the butcher store. So it just brings it full circle.
Yeah.
People know them. You know what I mean? It's that kind of stuff. So it's the discounting of people that's the wrong thing to do. Because
Yeah.
we all have value, right? We're all equal in value, right? So,
Yeah.
man, people know people for one way or another. It's really, really interesting. Again, I really had to have my eyes open to that,
Yeah.
you
You
know,
don't know. One
right?
of the stories I share in my first book, Foundational Networking, I talk about this all the time. When I started working as this tax consultant downtown, driving my car down there, it wasn't a great car. It had the windows that, you had to actually crank to roll down, right? So it wasn't
Right.
anything great, but it was my car, and I found a parking garage that was reasonably inexpensive near my office. And the catch was is that you had to leave your keys. You didn't have your own spot. They moved your car around. And I'm like, oh, this is a little weird. But I just kind of committed to, you know what? I'm going to get to know these parking lot attendants. I'm not going to be just one of the 500 attorney types that park here. I'm going to be the guy that they know. And so there was one particular woman who she took the keys. She was kind of in charge. And every day I would just stop, hand her my keys, and just, let her know where my car was. And she'd put it on this big board. I don't know, I kept track of it. That's not my business. But her name was Twyla. And every day I would just stop and have a conversation with her. Twyla, how you doing? How's your daughter? How's your granddaughter? She'd love to have a conversation, show me pictures of being at the zoo and whatnot. She's just a parking lot attendant. Everybody's kind of dismissing her because she's the parking lot attendant. She stopped me one day and she said, "How would you like to be an extra in a movie? They're shooting a movie up in Upper Sandusky, which is north of Columbus, where I'm at, and they're looking for attorneys to be extras." I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm not really, maybe I'll be discovered. I'm not really excited about being an attorney or a tax attorney." Well, it turns out it was the Shawshank Redemption. They were
Wow.
filming the Shawshank Redemption.
Classic. What a
I got to,
classic.
I know, I got to be an extra in that movie. Now, I was cast as a prisoner, which is a whole nother conversation. um, but it just underscores the point that, there are hundreds of attorney types coming and going from there. And I
The
can't say I was the
present,
only person,
the
but I
present.
got the opportunity. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I had a parking lot attendant story too. His name was Mike. Great kid, just great kid. See him every day, and same thing. There's 1,000 cars there
Yeah.
every day, and he's friendly. He knows everybody. I mean, this kid was connected, hardworking kid and stuff. Parents and everything. They came from Africa, started working. He was a young boy working, and he's there doing that, hustling that, and another job. And again, this guy's connected. We're downtown the Loop of Chicago. We're in the
Yeah.
South Loop there and stuff. That my buddy owns a restaurant right on the corner. I mean, it's all these connections that are there, and these guys start to know each other because, like you said, you be that person, that is interested. Say hi,
Yeah.
what's going on and stuff. Always make sure he's got an eye on my car. He always took care of it. It's like,
Yeah.
it was just and that there's value in that. There's a lot of value in that, and the connections are, you don't know. You just don't know. Like you said, you don't know who you're connecting with.
No,
It's amazing. Uh,
it's very true. Yeah.
so on that note, let's think about this. Okay. So as you evolve in your networking skills,
Hmm.
okay, because now you're helping people you've been doing for 25 plus years. Like, do you take them kind of on step 1, 2, 3, 4, 10? We're kind of going that way. Like, is there a way you skill up in networking? Like, what does that look like? Is there just you just keep bumping into people? Like, what is it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess, I've been doing what I've been doing for 25 years.
Hmm.
I've been networking my whole life,
Sure.
right? My brother and sister were my original gangster networking partners, right? I mean,
Right.
so we just don't know it. We don't know it. Yeah, you meet a girl through your friends. That's networking, right? I mean, it's
Right.
just so we've been, it's really human nature. But as far as like the professional end of it and people getting started, I generally tell people, if you're looking to get started, get out there and volunteer in your community, find something to do, something you're interested in. I'm into athletics. Great. Go and help at this road race or,
Right.
go help at Beloit College. They need people to park
Very cool.
cars or whatever. And you get to meet people. Um, but it's really about, again, developing relationships. And the best way to develop relationships is to figure out ways that you can help other people because as humans, we're kind of hardwired to reciprocate. So if
Right.
somebody does something for us, um, they're going to be looking for ways to help you in return. Um, and it's human nature. It might not be exactly what you want. I mean, I might help somebody and hope that they can refer me to a great client or a franchisee or something like that. And it might be that they're just giving me information or tipping me off to information that helps me publish another book or whatever it might be. And it might not happen immediately, but it happens in time. And so you need to condition yourself to, okay, I'm going to do things for people. I'm going to let them know what I'm about and just trust that it's going to come back. And, it's never a perfect thing. Most people I talk to will tell you that things come to them and there's really no rhyme or reason why it's happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of get that. There's that great question, especially as men, we ask each other. It's usually the first thing. It's, what do you do?
Mm,
Right. So
yeah,
that kind of begins it. And what I've found by digging into the other person, and I had to work on this too. You can imagine who I used to be. Okay, like actually have to care about what they do. Okay, I'm
yeah,
just being real. But you start talking to them about what they do, and all of a sudden you're listening. And you go, oh, all of a sudden there's a connection inside what they do about who they may know or get an introduction. To get into place because I have to go and sell my services. I have to talk to people. I have to get in different places, and you're always looking for that in. And an introduction is a powerful thing.
yeah,
You can walk in cold. Who do I talk to? I need to talk to HR, this person, ops manager, whatever. But I'm like, oh, you do that there? Who do you know? Because
yeah,
here's what I do. Who would I talk to there? Oh, I'll hook you up with Tommy, man. He's our guy.
yeah,
Man, that's a leap. That's a leap forward in influence because you've got this guy who's introduced to the next guy. So I've always found that to be kind of fascinating when that happens. Just by I see someone at the gym every day, never talk to them because we're working out hard, we're
yeah,
focused, doing our thing. Year and a half, and then one day, talk to them on the street. Hey, what do you do anyways? You like work next door here, and find out it's like this HR and they're this and exactly where I want to get into. Like from what I'm
yeah,
like, holy cow, man! Like what a connection, you know.
yeah,
But in the gym, this is my personal fitness philosophy. Like when people are really working out, especially when they got headphones on,
leave
one
them alone.
like
Right.
I don't interrupt.
Yeah,
I got to catch them when they're done, whatever go. And we're both that way. It's kind of funny. It's like you may give a nod or a point, like, hey, you recognize they're there, but man, we are getting the workouts done. But man, that time when it just happened not be in the gym, but you could connect because of the gym, and then that, and then it could be incredibly beneficial,
yeah.
for me, and then obviously be for them as well.
I refer to that as the strength of, well, not just me, other people, the strength of weak ties, right? Now, a lot of times people, like when I went out into private practice, everybody's like, well, go talk to the people you used to work with. It's like, well, we all know the same people.
Right.
My wife is not going to help me. I mean, not that she's not going to, but we kind of all know the same people.
Right.
But the weak ties are the people we kind of know, but don't know really well. So that guy in the gym is a perfect example of somebody that, you know what, see him all the time. I know he's pretty committed and he works out pretty hard. This place isn't cheap to belong to, so he probably does something professionally. Certainly, if it's early in the morning, you're
Yep.
realizing that, people they're here early in the morning because they got somewhere to be.
Yeah.
Those are the people to say, you know what, sometime after a workout, we should go grab a cup of coffee, just learn about each other. I might be able to help you. You might be able to help me. You never know.
Right.
Most people are going to be like, yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're driven. So,
And the good gyms have the coffee right downstairs in the lobby.
yeah, yeah, there
You don't
you
have to
go.
go
Yeah,
anywhere. You don't have to really
yeah,
go anywhere. Just spend that time. But you're exactly right. And you have a great point here. The 5 a.m. people,
yeah,
5:30 a.m. Those are my people.
yeah.
They're
They
there every
work.
day. We don't miss because there's no interruptions at 5 in the morning. They're getting their workout in because it's a priority, and they're
Yep,
going to work. And they're
yep,
successful for those things. So yeah, I found the gym to be, well, I owned a gym. I liked it so much I owned one. Okay, but
yeah,
it was it's that atmosphere that you're in, and it's just going to transfer into the daily life. It's just not, oh, I get 1 hour a day of being, exceptional in my workout, but the rest of the day is a bummer. It's not. It's the beginning of
yeah,
like the full
yeah.
day. So yeah, real good people to connect with. Even
No,
the
I love that story.
the last I have a guy who works the front desk at the gym, right? He's retired,
Yeah,
works there 1 day a week and stuff like that. But this guy, well, we were both Marines, so we got that connection. And then he worked in the for TSA, all the security, nuclear plants, all this kind of stuff. He's an S2 guy, so we hit it up all the time. I mean, this guy knows some people.
yeah.
Okay, and he's just, yeah, I just come here a day a week. I do a 1 day a week at the other places to do something. Otherwise, I'm rucking and hiking, and I'm doing this stuff, and everything. So you never know where the people are going to be.
Well, you
You
might
know,
reach out to him and just say, okay, you're here. You know people. Who should I meet here?
right?
Who do you know that, the backstory, see the cards on people, what they do. Who should I meet? Can you introduce me? Um, and you don't, it just takes one person, Richard, right? It just
Yeah,
takes one
yeah, that's
person
right.
to change things.
I gave him my new book, my Sharpen the Spear book.
Yep.
His name's Rick, and I said, Rick, man, you got to read this because he's a NCO, did all this stuff in the Corps. He's been leading people and man, a week later, he came back and he goes, let's talk about your book.
Oh,
He gave me
okay.
an incredible review, like really went through it. I mean, I guess it's not a big book, but like, really he loved it. He like connect with all this stuff,
Yeah.
asking me these different things. So it's little things like that too. I just gave it to him, which I always do. I
Yeah.
just give the books out, and again, just strengthen that tie. Now he really knows what I do,
Yeah.
right? So now and when we chat, we're like, how do we help each other? It's the same thing.
Yep.
Power, my man, power. Okay, let's go next level networking, whatever that might be. You're the expert, so I'm going to lean on you.
Well, I mean, it's certainly going to vary depending upon who people are and what they're looking to do. But one of the things I get out and talk to groups about is what I call the five big misses in networking. A lot of times people think of networking as, okay, find me clients. And when I tell this story, when I give out and give this talk, I talk about going to a networking event years ago and talking to a trainer coach type, right? A trainer consultant type, and just asking, well, what can I do to help you? Because we should be trying to figure out how to help one another. And the person came back to me with, refer me to the person, the corporate type that, is ready to buy my $25,000 leadership training program. I'm kind of looking at him. He's looking at me. I got nothing because I don't know if he's got $25,000. I certainly don't have $25,000. And I felt kind of useless in that moment. And he probably thought I was useless. But as I was driving away, I'm like, okay, this guy missed it.
Yeah,
This, what he is essentially, I'll use this metaphor, he's asking me for a 6-inch putt, right? That, the ball is 6 inches away from the hole. You're not going to miss that shot. I'm not going to miss that shot. Nobody's going to miss that shot. Golfers, non-golfers, nobody's going to miss that shot. He wants a check with his name on it. And so when I talk to people and I have a lot of people coming at me about networking, um, hey, Frank, I'm looking for the 20, I'm looking for the check with my name on it. I'll just say, hey, do you golf? And people will say yes or no. And if they say no, I'll just say, do you understand the game? Yeah, I understand golf. And I say, okay, if you're standing there getting ready to tee off from a 415-yard par four dogleg right. Are you standing and saying to yourself, geez, I hope I drop it in the cup? And everybody laughs, says, no, it's, nobody does that. Um, I said, yeah, but that's what golf is. And, that's what this is we're standing on the tee here, but if you stop and think about golf, it's a game of not 6-inch putts, but about hitting a ball hundreds of yards at a hole you can't even see, and you're gonna sequence it together. And it's all about the sequencing that makes it successful. Nobody hits the ball off the tee and says, oh, it didn't go in the cup and they quit. No, they keep playing it, right? So the big misses in networking I see are simply this. One, they fail to use their network to find information, right? That's a powerful thing. You're doing a podcast, you had to learn about that. You had to tap into your network. You had a book, you had to learn about that. Promoting a book, you had to learn about that. And your network can provide you that information. The second big miss I see is that people fail to use it just to meet people, right? I met a parking lot attendant that got me a spot as an extra in a movie. Now, does that make any money for me? Well, I got paid minimum wage that day, I guess. So it did make some.
But, but you're in
But
Shawshank Redemption.
well, yeah, but I mean,
One
it's
of
the
the
talking point.
classics.
Oh, I stood there and talked to Morgan Freeman, pretty much like
That's
we're
right.
talking right now,
That's
right?
right.
It was a great day. So just introduce me to other successful people, because other successful and connected people know other people who are successful and connected. So take on those contacts. And too often, as we already talked about, they're trying to size things up. They want to know the end of the story before they pick up the book, right? It's like just get out there and meet people. You don't know where it's going to go. The third big miss is failing to use your network to get you opportunities to be a thought leader, right? Opportunities to get out and speak, write articles, do things like that. We're not necessarily getting paid to do it, but you can demonstrate your expertise to people. That's one of the big challenges for professional service people like us is people have to know that we're an expert. They have to
Right.
know you're an expert, Richard. But the
Right.
second you come out and say, "Hey, hire me, I'm the expert," you disqualify yourself
That's right.
because it just it it sounds cheap, right?
Yeah.
So you want to get out there and just get those opportunities. Um, the other thing is failure to use the network to meet strategic partners, right? As a young attorney, I wanted to meet bankers. Just introduce me to bankers because they know business people, and those, they can refer me. They knew people who needed estate planning. So I want to meet bankers. I want to meet or not, excuse me, CPAs. I want to meet payroll people. I was a business attorney, and they were kind of a gateway to other clients for me. And the last big miss I see is failure to use your network to tap into things that are not quite ready, right? So let's go back to this $25,000 training person, right? I might say, well, I know somebody, they could probably get the money, but they don't have it right now. Now, some people will say, well, have them call me when they're ready. Other people, a savvy person will say, you know what, connect me to that person. I'll help them put the proposal together for their boss. I'll help them piece it together so it's obvious I'm the only one they're going to hire. And I see that in business as well, where you'll have mortgage lenders who will say, refer me people who have damaged credit because I'll help them get back on their feet. Well, who are they going to go to get a mortgage? They're not going to go searching for somebody else. They're going to go to the person who helped them. So those are the really kind of the big misses I talk to people about. People overlook those sorts of things and they go to an event and they'll judge the event on, okay, I didn't get a check with my name on it. No, but you met somebody who is going to help you connect with a banker that's going to help you find somebody else who's going to help you get that check with your name on it. So,
Yeah, I think you're totally right. Now, and I'll put it in this context too. So you're in business, whatever you do, you got leads coming in, right? Leads
yeah,
are pouring. You're getting 5, 10 a day, 20 a day, whatever. Okay, you call them, and what happens? No one picks up.
yeah,
Okay, so what are you supposed to do? Well, you got to call them again and again and again and again. And after about the ninth or 10th one, you might get someone on the phone. Okay, then you start talking to them. Same thing. Well, they tell you your service. Well, I can't do it right now, but I can do it then. Same principle, right? We can do this out. I did that last night. demoing what I do for manufacturing, get a thing locked in for this week, goes back, talks to some of the other managers, like, listen, we're rolling out a bunch of new products, wrapping up the year. We want to do this in January. I'm like, it's okay, man. It's middle of November. January's like tomorrow.
Yeah.
I said, I'm
Yeah.
good. But now I nurture that. I got 8-10 weeks to nurture this. Just stay in front, say hi, do the
Yeah.
thing, how's things going, pop by, whatever. Because I'm going to close that deal. And that's a big deal.
Well, the other thing I would tell you, just totally unsolicited, is we live in a great time. We have this thing out there called LinkedIn, so you can literally look on there and see who the person knows, right?
Right.
And so let's go back to the whole gym thing, and you realize this person's connected to the guy you work out with every morning, and you go to the guy and say, "Hey, I see you're connected to Larry. How do
Yeah.
you know Larry?" Yeah, Larry and I were college roommates. That's hilarious because I'm going to be hitting Larry, going to Larry with a proposal, you know? And so he might say, well, I can put a good word in for you. I work out with you. Or, when you see Larry next time, talk about this funny story. He
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
he was drunk as a skunk, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so when you sit with Larry and say, okay, Larry, before we talk business here, you need to tell me about, whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If I had a call yesterday with somebody here in Columbus, Ohio, right? Area code 614. Guy's got his phone number is 715. I'm like, stop. 715 is Central Wisconsin. What is your connection to Central Wisconsin?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
born there. I thought it was cool to keep the number. That is cool. Are you a Packers fan? Oh yeah, I'm a Packers fan. You know what I mean? And we're not even talking business, but that just kind of greases the skids a little bit.
Yeah. It's those ins are great, and it takes me back in like 1990 or so. I brought my business from Arizona to Chicago to kind of do it here. There's more money, more people value what I
Yeah.
do. But in the meantime, I'm a fitness trainer, I'm a boxer, I'm all this stuff. So I interview at a business club downtown Chicago, Union League Club of Chicago. Been there since the Civil War. Biggest money in the city. I mean, it's a beautiful place. I'm like, hey, this is something I'd like. They actually work out here. They got 3 floors of athletics, pool, all this stuff. I mean, so I go in, I start that. I just do it for a day. Next thing I'm doing it 3 days, 4 days. That that time there changed everything for me. I was around like the wealthiest people in the city,
Right.
you know, and they all really like me because I'm slapping around boxing and doing stuff like that. So it's kind of fun with guys. But they helped me. They helped launch my business, man. They got me the connections. I mean, that
Yeah.
alone was a game. I ended up becoming a member of that club. I was like one of like 2 people ever in like 150 years to become
Wow.
a member there. But I cherished that time and those memories there, because that was my ultimate networking,
Right.
and these were like a lot of them were self-made guys. Love to help me because I talk about rocks because I'm a water feature builder. I'm Rick Rock, and they're like, "What is this rock thing?" I go, "Well, I do this." I just show them the picture. Go, "Oh, I gotta have one of those."
Yeah.
So they became clients, but then they turned me on to the next guy. Funny thing, I had a guy who was trying to shaft me out of 25,000 on the project I did for him. Right? I'm like, oh, so I'm telling one of my workout clients, big attorney, and so he collects for the biggest banks in the world. Okay,
Right.
he's a partner in this law firm. Says, and then he goes, here, call him. Just go talk to him. I'll put a word in. Go there, see him at the office downtown. So I do, and just tell him what's up. He goes, okay, I'll send a letter. Okay. So I didn't know much about these guys, Frank, and he sent this letter. Okay, and I guess in the attorney world, letterhead can be powerful.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. The guy called me. Yeah. Okay, fine. I'll pay you your money. You and your high priced lawyers and all this kind of stuff. He was terrified.
Yeah.
Okay, because of that. And the guy he just wrote a letter.
Yeah.
Okay, and I
Well,
got my 25,000.
going to court is going to be more than 25,000,
That's right.
right?
That's right. So it was, and that's a connection. Only because
Yeah.
that man became lifelong friends, until he died. He was one of a tight group we had, but just amazing. But that's the connection. That's the power of network.
Yeah.
Because oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. No, anybody can do these things.
Right.
Anybody can do these things. So,
Yeah, I think Frank, the problem is people aren't thinking that way, and I like the way your approach because if you're thinking about how you can help them, it's not a take situation.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are looking at networking as we have there's a guy, I know a guy, okay, and I just call him the taker.
Yeah.
Running his business and it's all about him and what he gets, what he gets. And it's just, I'm like, it's repulsive. I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't even stand next to him. You
Yeah.
know, like I can't, you're so consumed with what you can get from people. You know, you'll
Yeah.
steal the limelight from someone who's about to talk, and well, you talk about your thing and do this and this, trying to pitch yourself. I'm like, I just, that's not networking. Okay, to him, that's networking. And I'm like, that's kind of grandstanding, obnoxious. Like you need to go. That's what that is. So I
Well,
love the helping other people though.
well, what I find is people tell me they're apprehensive about walking into a room, right? They're apprehensive of
Mhm.
going to a networking event. And the reason they're apprehensive is, well, one, they're just don't, we're just not accustomed to being around strangers. It's uncomfortable, but they fear rejection.
Yeah.
They fear, I'm going to be asking for things and people are going to reject me. Well, you're not a very good attorney. And so they fear that rejection. But if you go in not with your hands open, your hat in hand, looking for something, but go in, I call it the cloak of invincibility. I'm here to help people. Nobody
Right.
rejects Superman. Everybody welcomes Superman in their life. So if you're that person or Wonder Woman, you pick your superhero. If you're that person and become known as, geez, every time Richard comes here, I'm always getting words of encouragement. He's got information for me. He's always got somebody new he's introducing me to. When you walk in the room, everybody wants to go talk to Richard, right? And then everybody wants to reciprocate because they want to be in your good graces. So it really is a powerful thing just to try and help other people.
Yeah. It goes back to that great saying, you want to be a thermostat, not a thermometer
Yeah.
when you're in a room. Don't read the temperature, control
Yep.
the temperature.
Yep.
Bring
Control
that
it.
and do
Yeah.
that. It's really something, like, and we did a Chamber of Commerce dinner. There's 700-800 people there, right? In this room.
Yeah.
That's a big room. Okay. Again, and there's some big hitters in there and everything else. And you talk about lost. You can't really have a fear of rejection. You're in a sea of people. Like you don't even know who to talk to. So you just, spill your drink on someone to start up a conversation or something. I don't know how to do that, but
Yeah.
you have this, who's at the table, you're working your way around, you start meeting these people, who's ever in your closest vicinity, you just strike that out. And I've been able to do that really well because I'm a friendly person, but I meet people here. That's why I have an office in a co-working space.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
It's amazing. Energy's great. People doing all kinds of different things, all different levels and everything else, man. And they all know someone.
Yeah.
So, it's really fascinating. It's not like you could be in a single business with, 80 offices or something, but they're all kind of working for the same thing. This is everybody is connected in a different way,
Yeah.
and we've had great conversations that have led to the next thing. It's been really, really good. Yeah, I think Frank, if we think about networking and we think about helping others, giving, and the power and the rule of reciprocity,
Yeah.
it's kind of is it a rule? Is that what they would call it? A rule? The rule
Well,
of reciprocity?
it's human nature. I mean,
It
I
is.
mean, it's literally, um, we are hardwired to do it. I mean, I'll
Yeah.
tell you a quick story. There's a famous anthropologist out there. Her name's Margaret Mead, was Margaret Mead. She died 78. But she was teaching a class, and one of the students asked, what was the first sign of human civilization? And people thought about it, and she's trying to formulate an answer, and they're thinking, okay, fire, weapons, clay pots, whatever, language. Those are the answers I'll get. But the answer she came up with was a healed femur, the bone that connects the knee to the hip. She said in the animal world, if an animal breaks its femur, it's a death sentence. But we found the remains of humans that had a broken femur. And without modern medical care, it takes about 6 to 8 weeks for that thing to heal. So what that says is that somebody stayed behind. We were very nomadic at this point in time. Somebody stayed behind to care for those people. So if you stop and think about it, you have a group of 4 people, somebody breaks their femur, if 3 leave that person, well, it's a death sentence for that person, but those 3 move forward not as strong as 4, right?
Right.
And then they become 2 and 1, and they perish. But if we're a group of 4 and you're staying behind and wait for me to heal up, and we move forward as a group of 4, 4 is stronger than 3. and you're moving forward with me. And I remembered the fact that you stood
Right.
behind and, kept me warm, kept me fed, whatever. Um, and that's going to mean something. So that gene pool survived. So if you stop and extrapolate forward, what ended up happening is the people that had this, the people who were predisposed to helping other people, their gene pools were likely to survive. And today, I tell people, I don't care what your politics is, I don't care about your religion or color of your skin or any of that stuff. You've got that propensity to help other people within you.
Right.
Um, Greed gets in the way. Quotas get in the way. Trying to get promoted gets in the way. But by and large, we're here to help somebody.
Yeah.
So you just need to lean into it.
Yeah. And, when you do it, it's a rewarding feeling. People talk about that, like just like you said, volunteering.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things you said that you want to get into like networking, go volunteer.
Yeah.
Go do that because everybody's doing it for kind of the same reason.
Just
It's
helping.
not
Yeah.
a networking event. You're just helping people,
Yeah.
but you're going to meet people because I'll tell you, going back to like the people I knew, these, incredibly wealthy, successful people were out volunteering. They're doing this extracurricular work, helping
Yeah.
out here, doing this stuff there. So it's not, you do that when you got nothing or whatever, or they just give money because the greatest thing to give is time.
Yeah.
And when you're giving your time, that means a lot more than it's great to give money. People need money, but when you give time, that's
Yeah.
who was it? Thoreau, Henry David Thoreau would talk about that.
Yeah.
That time you give someone an hour or two here is worth more than almost any amount of money.
Well, it's irreplaceable,
Right.
right?
Exactly. Yes, it's irreplenishable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
It's
do it.
gone.
It just yeah,
It's
it's time is a big deal. I always use that when I'm talking to people, Frank. I say, especially business owners, trying to get them to get out of the owner prison and get their life back and balance things out. I said, so here's your son or daughter, first soccer game, running. You're supposed to be in the bleachers. You're at work. They're going down. Boom, they get that score, that first score of their life. They turn. They look in the stand.
ugh.
Who's not there?
Oh, yeah.
And you are never getting that back
Yeah.
ever. Money's
Yeah.
replenishable. You can make
Yeah.
more money whenever.
Yeah.
Like it's not a problem. Easy thing to do. Okay, that still gets like, man, not being there for that. That's why I changed everything I did, even though I lost everything. It was like, I'm never going to do that again. I'm not going to miss that with my kids.
Yeah.
So I had to create a way to do that. But yeah, time is the real gift. It really is. And that's the people. I think you'll see a greater return on reciprocity by giving your time, giving of yourself and your time.
Yeah.
Because people appreciate it. They really do.
Oh, I totally agree. I totally agree. I mean, now, obviously, people would say, well, I'd love to have a check. You get big charities, they'll say, well, just we want the check. We want the check. But most charities aren't big charities, they're small charities. And what they would like is they would like people to sit on their board or help volunteer to help keep the gears moving. And that's all time based, you know?
Yeah, yeah, because it's the hands that got to do the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Checks are good and all, and there's two sides to that coin. I tell people too. I work with some nonprofits from time to time, and they're I'm trying to raise $3,000 or $10,000. I go, well, good luck with that.
Mm.
I said, why don't you go ask for 100,000?
Yeah.
Why don't you go ask for 500,000? Because little money does little things. Okay, anyone who's got big money wants to do big things with their money.
Yeah.
They're not going to give you $3,000.
Yeah.
Okay,
You know,
'cause they know it doesn't do anything.
well,
It's like,
it's funny you mentioned that. I was talking to a guy, he's running a charity, and he said, yeah, how can I help you? Right. Oh, I need $500,000 to put on this summer camp for whatever it was. Ki- um, Underserved kids, teaching them about business.
right.
And I'm like, whoa, that's a big ask, right? I don't have
Mhm.
500,000. Do you have 500,000? I mean,
Right.
I don't know anybody who has a
Mother
half.
pants. They're mother
Yeah,
pants.
right.
So that's another thing.
Nobody's good. Nobody had, most of us don't have that. And I said, well, why do you need a 500,000? I'm not challenging you, but where does all the money go? That would be nice to know. Well, one of the things he brought up was, a lot of the money it goes because we go all around the state of Ohio pulling these kids into this central camp. And so we need money for buses. And I said, well, I know a guy who's associated with the Army Reserves, and he's always scheduling buses. He knows people at these bus companies. What if I got you a contact? I'm not going to say you're going to get the buses for free, but what they might do is say, hey, we'll provide, we'll contribute, these drivers, right? And maybe that saves you $25,000. I don't know. But then you start, like to your point, you start piecing it together. What are all these little things that I need? Oh, you need notepads, right? Okay, great. Instead of you buying them, I'm going to give you money to go buy them. How about I just buy them as part of what I normally buy, and I'll just order enough extra because I get a great deal because I'm a big company, and I'll just give you that. Or we have these extra things. We got computers. We're upgrading our computers. You can have the old ones. We'll get them all refurbished. And so it's just, a lot of whether we get or don't get in networking has to do with how we ask for things.
Yeah, very true, very true. Yeah, and there's a lot more generosity out there than people think.
Yeah.
Just on that, people like you said, hey, we're downgrading these anyways, man. There's life left in them.
Yeah.
It's just like it's my company vehicles, my fleet was like 100,000 miles. We're done. They're going away. Well, then other people come and buy a 100,000-mile-an-hour truck because they're going to get 200,000 more miles out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they get it for a song. I did this for a guy. I had like 300,000 on one of my trucks. The thing's knocking. I'm thinking, I don't know if it's going to throw a rod or what's going on, but I sold it for $700. Okay, it's wrapped in my Rick Rock stuff. Everything else. This guy came out, and this is during that cash for clunkers nonsense they did. Give you $4,700 for your worthless car. So I wasn't going to do that. So this guy comes out and he goes, well, I just started a mattress delivery business in Chicago. I'm like, oh, cool. So $700. He buys my truck, drives that thing off. My buddy's right in the South Loop's got a restaurant there and stuff. I'm standing on the corner. There goes my truck going with mattresses and bags. This is like a year and a half later, 2 years later. This guy is still running. I'm like, see, now if I would have gone and Cash for Clunkers got my 40, they would have crushed that, taken out of service. I couldn't help that entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That guy's run and started the bit. I'm like, and he never, of course, he's not going to take the wrap off. It's not worth it, right? But I'm like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Like, that was like the best sale I ever made.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
$700.
Great story. Yeah.
It's just super cool. Just see the guy cruising around. I'm just like, I don't know if you're right. I was just like looking at him like, how cool is that? And mattresses in the back. He's going.
There you go.
It's just good stuff. It's just really good stuff. I love it. So many examples, Frank. So many great examples here on networking. I've really enjoyed this. Wow, it's been great. Final thoughts.
Well, I've shared a lot. Just get out there and network too. You don't need to be perfect at it, right? It's just layering a little bit of improvement. There's probably things you work with your clients, a little bit of improvement, right? I didn't go to any networking events last year. Okay, just set a goal to go to one a month this year, right? Don't worry about meeting the whole room. Just meet one person,
right?
Just incrementally go after it. And that's, again, back to my analogy with math. I mean, you've got to learn arithmetic before you're really going to understand subtraction, multiplication, division, and then fractions. And it just starts to build on itself. And eventually you get really good at it.
I just thought of something that I got to ask. So about that, go to one event, meet one person.
Yeah.
So I know it's like human beings, we're like gatherers, right? We cling to what we know.
Yep.
So here's my thing. You go to this networking event, you meet a guy. Cool. You chatted up. All that's good. Go to another one. He's there. Now you're hanging out with him. Now there's got to be something, because all of a sudden you're going to stay with people you're comfortable with, even though that was uncomfortable to me the first time. You got to keep pressing out to meet the next person, right?
Well, you're a gym guy. I mean, you can't, you don't keep using 10-pound dumbbells, right? You got to move up. And so you go to that event and you see that person, you give them the thumbs up, you wink at them and say, hey, well, let's touch base. And maybe you run into them and say, who have you met here interesting that I don't know? I met a couple people. Let me introduce you. You introduce me.
There you go.
And take advantage of that.
So. I love it. Yeah. I just that came in my head because I would do that. I would stay with people I know. We are sitting over here now. Well, I got a friend. I'm good. I networked. I have a friend. I met a friend. Okay. So, that's good. Awesome, Frank. This has been so much fun. How can guys get in touch with you? Maybe get your books, kind of see what you got going on.
Yeah, go to frankagin.com. I got a website, stuff's listed there. We're um, adding other books and overhauling things, but that's the best way to find me.
Nice.
My email's there, maybe my phone number even, I don't know. So yeah, email's
Excellent.
best. Reach out to me, and if I can help, I will.
Yeah, and you've got the networking group so people can get involved in that, right?
Yeah. Oh, we're
Yeah,
looking
so
for
just
people all over. We essentially teach people how to put these groups together and essentially how to profit from them. When we help people
awesome.
set up groups, it's essentially a franchise, a very inexpensive franchise. We'll help them put it together, and we've got all the infrastructure and teach them how to make it successful.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So take advantage of that. And Frank, thank you for the time today. It's just been a ton of great information and value. As always, I appreciate it. And for everyone else, we'll see you on the next STS podcast. Thanks for joining me on the Sharpen the Spear podcast. If you're a manufacturing executive and you're serious about unlocking hidden profit, improving frontline leadership, and taking control of your floor, go to grit2lead.com right now. Run the free Sharpened Impact Simulator and discover your biggest opportunities are hiding. Don't leave millions on the table. Sharpen your spear, lead from the front, and win the floor. Until next time, stay sharp.